the intonation of your question, and it's completely not true. Anyone in a board or committee like that works basically outside of the public view, and only certain cases will what you do arise. So we are the gears and wheels that turn town government, and it really is faceless. So to say that anyone is entrenched and a member of the old boy network in town hall, that's not a correct statement. And selectmen are a completely different entity. So for me to transfer from the planning board to the selectmen, I am a brand new face. I bring fresh ideas because they have such completely different roles. They have different tasks in town. So I would bring my ideas to those new roles and tasks.
Okay. Can you name a couple of ideas you might have? I'll just keep letting you talk for a minute.
Sure. One of the first things that I'll bring is a leadership, and it's a leadership that I've exhibited as chairman of the planning board. I've exhibited as a dad and father raising my family. I've exhibited in work, where I manage complete projects in the tens of millions of dollars, and as a teacher, teaching people for 10 years. So those are some examples of leadership, and I'll bring that to the Board of Selectmen. I'll step right in and be part of the leadership team. I already know and understand many of the issues that are before the Selectmen now, so there will be no learning curve for the issues that have been before the Selectmen recently. I've kept abreast of them all, and I'll be able to take a leadership role right then and there. Another thing that I'll do as a Selectman is that I'll bring all town hall boards together in a way that creates unity. I'll reach out to them and I'll listen. I'll listen to every board in town and see how we can make a connection. There has to be a link, a nexus between every board and committee. We can't be in charge of our own little fiefdoms at town hall. So even though every elected board, DPW, planning, Board of Health, to name a few, even though all those boards and committees have their own autonomy, and I respect that, and I will never do anything to damage that autonomy, I will find out ideas that they have that I can implement as a selectman. And that's what I'd like to do.
Okay. James, really the same question I began with. You've obviously come from the opposite point as Dan and Lou, in that you don't have much, or I don't know, if any municipal government experience. How does that help? I mean, how does that bring you? How does it help you serving on a board?
I mean, when you think about municipal government experience, I mean, I've never served on a town board, but I have served in other functions. I mean, throughout high school I was on student government, and that's kind of like but since I've gone to UMass, I live there. I'm an elected official at UMass. I serve the students there, and it's around 10,000 students, and we actually work in pretty much doling out over $500,000 worth of funds to various student groups and organizations across campus. I'm on public safety committees there, finance committees. I'm on residential and infrastructure committees. I'm on the same board, the same thankless jobs. No one knows who I am, but I come in every day, and I'm not someone that's going to say, oh, you know what, this is terrible. I don't do that. I come in and I take charge. And I've shown through my leadership potential at my school that even as a freshman, I'm someone that can do things. They sent me on a $5,000 trip to the inauguration as a student leader to represent the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth over 10,000 students. I'm the youngest person in my job. I'm a personal finance banker. I manage finances for towns that have double the population levels of Pembroke. Everyone else in my work is around in their mid-30s. And, I open just as many accounts, I manage just as many financial assets as anyone else. And I think, what really the biggest misconception is that the Board of Selectmen, as an entity over time, have gotten stronger. They haven't. Originally, they were the executive arm of the town. You know, that's great, but as town population grows, you need to diversify. You know, you get people like Evan Thorne, the town administrator. You know, he takes a lot of that power away. So what's left is kind of a group of people that does, you know, they set minor fees, and you know, they do a lot of the legwork that Evan Thorne can't get around to do, and that's exactly what I want to be part of. You know, if elected, I mean, really, what the whole basis is that, you know, I can make the town my top priority. I have school, I have work, and I have the town. And that's it. You know, I have an invested interest in the community too. I've been through the high school. I lived here my entire life. You know, I love Pembroke. You know, I have 2 younger siblings that go to school here, and I have, you know, my whole family lives in Pembroke. And you know, a learning curve is not a bad thing. You know, I go to school every day. I spend 15 hours a week learning public policy, and I want to bring some of that back. And you know, it'll only get better over time.
Okay, Lou, going back to do you see, as I mentioned before, the possibility that being seen as somebody who's been around and been in government or in town politics, or whatever you want to call it, for an extended period of time can be seen as a negative by voters? Is that something you think should be addressed, or?
Well, I think if people are dissatisfied or unhappy with certain things in the town, they probably you know, would like to see a change. I personally I'm not in that camp. I know there's always things that can be improved. For example, I think the Board of Selectmen needs somehow to have better communication with the people at home that may or may not be tuned into their television broadcast of the selectmen sitting there on a Monday night. Dan had a good point about bringing the departments together more so that they know what's going on. And I would like to see that. It's something that's been talked about. But when you go to town hall and you see how many people are meeting on the same night, I know the Board of Selectmen over the years have assigned one of the members to, say, go to the planning board and find out what they're doing. Well, they have to leave the selectmen's meeting and go to the planning board. And maybe they skip upstairs and go to the conservation department. I mean, this isn't done every week, but it depends on what the projects are. That's a very difficult thing to do, and I frankly don't have a firm answer on how you would do that, but I recognize it as a problem. I think if you recognize something as a problem and try to solve it, that's a good thing. But I can't tell you right now how to do it.
Okay.
One of the things I thought about was, and I don't know how this would work, is perhaps at the end of the selectmen's meeting, maybe they take and they read some questions from people that were in the audience that sent them in, either on an email or on a letter, and put their name and address on there so we know it's legitimate, and maybe they could take 15 minutes and answer these questions. Now, that's just an idea. I don't know if it would work. And there's 4 other selectmen that you would have to convince that that's a good idea. I think we also, even though I agree with James that it's a good idea to have some new ideas coming in from people that may not be associated with the government today. You can't turn your back on ideas.
Okay.
I don't know how many of James' ideas this Board of Selectmen would find to be something that they would agree with or something that they wouldn't agree with, but I think it's a good